is tawess, and how about we take a break from our regular scheduled programming of being angry at the world and go back to our roots. Let's play a little bit of a game. You see, recently the guys behind Spin Tire and Mudrunner came up with the latest game slash expansion, whatever you want to call it. It is a standalone expansion, in a way. Snowrunner. Just taste a Snowrunner. As expected, it's going to be a lot of ice driving, but we start out in Michigan. Because, well, that's where we start out. And for those unfamiliar with this game, it's basically a game about driving in mud. It has mud physics. It has very unforgiving mud physics. It doesn't do as well on roads without mud on, but in the mud, it's a great game. And this is sort of soft career mode where you have this partially open world where you just go around and do things. Now, I'm not starting this game completely blind. I have watched the first mission, so I know what we're up against. So we're gonna rush through this. I hit an engine there. I don't know why. Sometimes you do that. Anyways, we're gonna rush through this first bit a bit more, and then once we get through the bridge, which is the first mission, once we go through the bridge, we're on our own. So yeah, this game is basically about off-roading, and I would call it a strategy game more than a driving game actually, because roads are fine and dandy. Even off-road in most of the games is fine and dandy. Here, off-road behaves like off-road in a very evil way. So if you're not careful here, you're gonna get stuck. A lot. Especially when you're driving a big ass truck that is not designed to go off-road. I mean, it's a big truck, so it's gonna do better than a Mazda Miata, but still, you're gonna get stuck. And to be entirely honest, it's tickling that my fancies this game. It's about exploration, it's about taking it slow, no racing, no precision driving in that regard. It's not like Euro Truck where you're supposed to drive perfect. No, here it's more about finding a way. Experimentation and that sort of thing. And I kind of like that. It also harkens back to my youth. Now, I was never a truck driver in my youth, but I grew up in the countryside. So, these environments are actually pretty much what I grew up in. Leafy trees and so on. Now, here's one of these things where I kind of cheat a bit by knowing what I'm going to do. A lot of people go and pick up the metal first. I don't do that because I know there is a trailer with wood down here. But, yeah. I suppose I'm going to pause here, but I'm not going to pause here, but I'm going to give you one guess as to how well this particular maneuver goes. In hindsight, it would have been smarter to just game the game and gone in through the side. But we tried to do this straight-faced. So, I mean, you can see the mud. The mud physics in this game is awesome. Unforgiving, but awesome. Yeah, so we're going to pick up the wood trailer and then go and pick up the metal. That way we can solve the quest in one go. Most people go twice, 2 turns. So yeah, most people. A lot of people I've seen play this game do it that way. Because that's what the game tells you to do. I'm already stuck already, so. But I still persevere, because I was like, this has to be doable. I mean, also, we're not going to try and pretend that this is live commentary. This is recorded after the fact, because, well, I recorded this late at night. I didn't want to be talking a lot, because I'm not alone in the house. So, I recorded this gameplay, and then I just do voiceover. Now, they're going to give me the added bonus of being able to look into the future. Also, we have the ability to do a few edits later on. Certain sections need to be edited out. Trust me. So yeah, as you can see now, I'm going, it's going well-ish, as well as one can expect. And then we stop. And you see, here's the thing. At moments like that, you have to gamble a bit. Because you can just release the gas and not dig the tires into the mud. But there's a slight chance that you manage to pull free. Here, we don't do that. Now we're stuck. But we also have the most awesome... Yes, we try to put it in low, and then high, and then low, and then high, and try to dig ourselves loose. That doesn't do much. And I'm pretty sure people who actually know what they're doing is like sitting there, hands on head, at this point. You know what? This first video is basically going to be me learning this game, because I'm not entirely familiar with it. I never played the spin tires MudRunner games before, so this is my first foray. I see a lot of it, and I like it, but it's my first foray into it on its own. So yeah, here comes the winch. The winch is basically your best friend, and it's magical. And what I mean with that is that it doesn't really obey the laws of physics per se. Not entirely. So we're basically pulling free now. Not free enough though, but free nonetheless. It does need an anchor point though. It's not magic anchor points, but you can anchor it to things that are not really that anchored to begin with and still pull yourself free. But the bigger the truck, the more difficult it is to find good footing. And you can see we need to pull hard. I'm also going to, for the next video, set up my steering wheel for this, because that feels like something that would be fun to do. Because most of the time, the problem with steering wheels are that when you're going fast, it's something hard to keep up. Here you're going fast. So I think it's going to be fun. So you're going to put the steering wheel. Anyway, we're still trying to figure out if we can get this loose at all. As I said, the smart move has been coming in here on the grass. Because that's the thing. Grass is better than mud. Ruts in the road is better than it's between the ruts in the road is better than it's better than in the ruts. And here's what I just gave up. And we're like, okay, fine. Let's do it the other way around then. I was only trying to figure out how to back, because I didn't. So yeah, we basically figured out that there's a smarter way to do this. You need to use your noggin for this. The old box. The old box of jello basically you need to use for this. So you go up and then we like attach the winch to it. Because screw you basically. I'm sorry, I had to sneeze. And you pull the trailer loose that way. You can do this. This is a thing you can do. And now we're on more solid ground. It's also worth noting the ground do deform. So if you run the same path over and over again, you're going to churn the mud up, make it even suckier. I don't mean that in a it sucks. It's more as in it has suction. Anyway, I should perhaps tell you what the mission is to. The mission is to pick up wood and steel to go and repair a bridge. So that's the mission. I could stop here and put on wood, but I'm not going to do that yet because I need more wood. I have 2 pallets of wood with me, and you need 2 pallets of wood. So we're going to look at the map. This map looks fairly big, and this map I found out is basically just a tiny portion of the map. It is put into cells, so to speak. And I guess that is for it to be able to actually simulate the mud. Because it needs to be fairly consistent. It needs to be persistent to some degree. I need to keep track where we put all the trailers and the things. So to keep the map running smooth, basically, I think they have split the map into smaller parts. Their own cells with loaded screens between. But still, the map is huge. As we go through, we're gonna explore Michigan, then we're gonna advance to Alaska, and then we're gonna advance to Russia. I think we have to, maybe some more places. We're gonna expand our views. Okay, low didn't work. So, low gear and high gear, by the way, is low gear is more torque, and high gear is more power, more speed. But sometimes you want low torque, high torque. Just slowly climb up things. And this thing doesn't really matter right now because it's so heavy and on street, on regular road tires, and well, everything's just crap. We can upgrade it later, I hope. Right now it's crap. So yeah, we're chugging along basically. So we're now going into town to pick up the steel, and later on we're going to take the steel and the wood to the bridge. Now, another fun thing with this game is that vehicles are persistent. If you leave something somewhere, it's going to stay there. So sometimes you have to think. Because you can't just you can recover it to your starting garage, but you can't recover it anywhere else. So, not your starting garage, your garage anyway. So if something gets stuck somewhere, you don't want to recover it. You have to have a mechanism to get it righted. Now, if you're playing co-op, you can have a buddy come out with a tractor and pull you out. And sometimes it could be worth doing that. But if you're playing on your own and get really, really stuck, most likely you're going to have to recall. Also, you can see your level of gas in the tanks, because that's actually a thing. You can run out of gas. Oh! Yeah, also trucks have weight in this game. Now, if you look at this position now, I load up the steel, and now I should go backwards, forwards then. Take a moment here and think, how do you think this is gonna go? Is it gonna go well? Or is it gonna go completely tits up? Well, me not really taking physics into account, because physics is physics, managed to get very stuck. And that's because those bins are like, they are catching on each other, and if I hit one, I then hit that. I'm stuck basically, as you can see. That's not the thing. In most other games, you can just force your way through here, but no, not this game. But I realized the trailer is fairly straight, so I back that up at least. Backing physics are also fairly good. It's not Euro Truck levels of it, but yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure that by the time we get up to Alaska, we're gonna... Have you seen this show, Ice Road Truckers? Yeah, that is pretty much what I'm imagining we're gonna have to run into. So, I haven't played this game particularly far, but I understand that you can also get a lot of attachments and such for your truck. Like cranes and tanks and everything. And again, that would be good. So now I'm going to plot our course. There's the bridge, you can see there's the bridge we're going to go to. And that's where we are right now. So plot our course. That is also key to survive. Because if you get stuck, you might have to reset, and that might cause you to lose a lot of progression. There you see is a gas station. Those are also important because you need to refuel. Refueling and repairing is free in this game, and that's kind of nice. You don't need to worry about that, because that could really break the bank. Especially refueling, because we refuel every odd moment. Oh, also, maybe some of the most elegant truck driving ever. Not kidding. Overcompensate, overcompensate, and almost get stuck again. Yeah. Turns out both fire hydrants and light poles are surprisingly sturdy. So we take you out a park bench instead, because those are not as sturdy. Well, this is post-flood crisis Michigan. I think it's Michigan at least. I could be wrong. Anyway, it's been a great flood and everything is wet and annoying. That's how they explain all the mud. Kind of a good idea actually. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go off-road again with this very heavy load. Kind of scary. This is about keeping momentum, to be honest. Because the road there is out. There's a big ditch, and well, I could take it in the Jeep. In this thing, no. So now it's just about plowing through. And this part makes it's deceptive, because this makes it like, oh, this is easy. Piece of cake. No worries. I wasn't looking there, to be honest. I was looking everywhere but where I was going. Which is kind of bad. But you know, it is what it is. I have the slight idea that once we get onto snow and ice, things are going to get even worse. Hopefully we have snow tires. And we have arrived. Sort of. Now, as you saw there, if you looked at the gas tank, it was only half full. And that's how you can see how much fuel you have left. Because it visually see it decrease, which is kind of nice. You can't do it on the Jeeps, but on the trucks which have the external tanks, you can do that. Alright, yeah, so now we can finally unload. And collect our rewards. Collecting rewards is important. Now, I'm not entirely sure these girders are supposed to be called metal planks, but they're called metal planks. I think they... I assume it's a translation thing. Because they are steel beams, metal beams, for the most part. So, first quest completed. And from now on, we are pretty much in virgin territory. I have really no idea what comes next. We're supposed to find a garage. Now, I was hoping to give the hot swap to that car. I couldn't. So now I'm going to try and park the trailer and Well, because I felt hauling a trailer around would be bad. It is a good idea, but I need to drive off the edge. Yeah, so again, try to hot swap to the car, realize you can't hot swap to the car, which is annoying, but understandable. But annoying, nonetheless. It would be good if you could do that, because then if you get stuck, you can at least go back and pick up a tractor or something. Maybe you can do it, you just haven't figured out how. I don't know. So we leave the trailer behind, and it pushed up in the road again. But at least we have left the trailer there, so we're gonna hitch it up and haul it in, just to get it out of the way. Let the momentum carry it. Ah, nicely parked. Still, I can't drive a truck. It's a damn good thing I don't drive a truck for real life. But if I did, I probably would be better at it, but yeah. We now take a look to see where the high beams are. It's getting dark, and light is important. There's a controller command too, because we use a controller at the moment to drive this. That's why I'm interested in seeing what will happen if we attach the steering wheel instead. I also tried to see if I can switch it to manual, but there's no real manual option. You have high, low, reverse, and that's about it. Tiny bit annoying, but I guess it's what we have to do. You'll work with what you have, basically. Now, what I'm doing now is basically taking a little detour to go into the garage. In hindsight, I can tell you this is a bad decision, because we are about to spend a very long time achieving nothing. But these towers you see, as the game has towers, insert Ubisoft joke. You have to get to them to expose more of the map. You can explore manually too, but it's sometimes nice to know what's coming up ahead of you. So you go to this tower and you unlock a bit of the fog of war, so to speak. And I thought this could be an easy peasy, because up till now it's been fairly easy peasy, apart from the trailer. But no, it was not easy peasy. Apparently it is, and my man is bad at it, but for me it wasn't particularly easy. So instead, we had a lot of getting stuck. Now, it's worth pointing out also that I picked up the base version of the game. I realized later that you have some really nice perks if you pick up the premium version, which contains the season pass, which contains a bunch of trucks and cars to get you started. And that would be nice. I mean, it wouldn't help now, but it's nice to have options, because right now I have 2 options. And this truck is horrible. Hopefully it will be all-wheel drive later, otherwise I don't really see how I'm going to be able to keep it. Because it gets stuck all the time. I need to be much better in maintaining my momentum, because I think that's one of the important issues that I just miss in this case. I was not good enough maintaining my momentum. My momentum it got lost. What is momentum, you might ask? Well, it's the whole carrying forward, the forward motion, the pushing of weight in one direction, and how that weight wants to continue to be in motion until it met with enough friction to stop. When you're in mud, this is important. I get stuck in a rock. There's a rock in front of me. Very annoying. Realistic, but annoying. When you're driving through mud, it's important to keep a momentum going, because if you stop, the mud starts to suck you in. And the more you get sucked in, the harder it is to start again, causing your tires to lose grip, because the friction against mud is pretty much zero at some point, and you dig deeper down and get more stuck, and soon you are completely stuck. Now here I'm not really completely stuck. I'm lodged against a rock, so I can't get any movement going, because the car is tilted forward and stuck on a rock. So we use our winch again. The winch is important. In real world too, if you have a Jeep or an off-road truck, have a winch on it. I mean, it's not a must-have, but I highly recommend it. Also, you can see that we are eating through our fuel in a rather alarming rate. And this truck is fairly economical to just help you get started. You can toss in a bigger engine, you can toss in a bigger things basically, and you will end up with something that is obscenely thirsty. I mean, when you can't refuel regularly, that's a problem. Because while on the roads, there are fairly often a gas station or something like that. But once you go out into the wilderness, less so, much less so. Actually, so much less so to the degree you might at one point have to either scout ahead and set up a fuel depot, as in pulling a fuel trailer out with you, putting it somewhere and then driving back and getting into a truck. Again, this is where co-op comes in handy, because then you can have a follower car instead. Or you have to park, unhitch, go back, refuel, come back again, because you consume a lot less fuel when not hauling, because the truck is less heavy. No, not a lot less, but anyway, fuel is also part of this puzzle. So it's a 3-part puzzle. You have the weight of the machine, the surface it's driving on, and how much fuel you have. As I said, this is way more a strategy game. Now here's me trying to be cute. It's like, oh well, there it is. So I'm like, I played so many racing games and driving games. I just cut across here. Let me explain to this that Snowrunner, Mudrunner, and Sprinter, these games do not appreciate you trying to be cute. Not in the slightest. They'd be like, you have to go now. Oh, that's not a project just done. So if you just mind me a minute, I'm gonna power here. Not entirely sure if you could actually hear that, but what happened was that I had the 3D printer running in the background and it decided it was done. So that's interesting. Anyway, back to the project at hand. As I said, this game does not really care for you being cute with it. It goes like, yeah, you want to go that way? Fine, here's about half a meter of mud that says you're not going this way. So I backtrack, I find the actual rut. You can usually see the rut. Ruts are these deep tracks in the mud. And ideally you want to place one wheel between those two and one wheel on the solid ground because that gives you much more traction, but most of the time you end up in these ruts, and it's better than driving in mire and shit. Because here at least you can see someone has at some point driven. So, we push forward here now, trying to make our way. We are in low gear, because we have no traction here at all. So you creep forward, just allowing the weight of the truck to keep us grounded. Hoping beyond hope to get things moving. But as you're about to see momentarily, this does not go to plan. We are about to get stuck for real. What follows then is about 10-15 minutes of struggling back and forth, trying to figure out how to get loose, because we ain't going nowhere at this point. This is the point where I realized I made a mistake, and as any solid individual, I then go on and make that mistake worse by driving God knows where and placing my truck in a very precarious position. But not letting that stop me, I then go on and make even more mistakes. It's a wonderful game, as said. It does not take you trying to be cute well at all. So the game goes like, well, you think you're going to do that? Well, then I'm going to do this, 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 and that. And then decides to just kick my ass entirely. But for what it's worth, we solve it. And we solve it by, well, cheating. I gave up. I teleported back to the starting point and then decided to pick up the way lighter off-road vehicle that I have, in a desperate hope that that will somehow make it there better. Now, here's the thing. We are back at this point and there is no fast travel. So we're gonna have to drive all the way over there. And yeah, I'm gonna basically jump cut you there because it is the same road again. So we're gonna jump cut to the bridge basically. Now that we're actually back to the bridge, we can slowly and carefully roll our asses on towards newer and greener pastures. What I decided to do now, it's instead of going up where I went up before, we are now going to try and go forward and then through and take a different route. I'm not going to say this goes a lot better, but at least it's trying something different. Not trying to do the same thing again. Because as we know, that is not a smart thing to do. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. There is a word for that, or there's a saying about that. So I decided to try something different. You should try different things in this game, that is how it works. There's no penalty for going back beyond wasted time. And we can accept wasted time. Now, here you see me taking the grassy route. Again, it is quicker because the ground is more solid. And then we go into a ditch, basically. It was me trying to be cute and skipping over to the other side. So out comes the winch again. Now this one is a lot easier to winch because the winch is still very strong and the truck is a lot lighter. But at the same time it is worth pointing out that it is not entirely sure that's how it's supposed to be done. But as I say, we live and we learn. That is how we do it. I promise that next video is going to be a lot more driving and a lot less winching, because we are still learning. And part of learning is to making mistakes. I pointed this out in another video on my crafting channel, that part of moving forward is sometimes moving backwards. To learn, you have to make mistakes. You have to get things wrong. And I think that's important. Because it's an easy one to forget. That sometimes in order to go forward, you need to go backwards. Or in this case, winch yourself sideways. Yeah. Now I know this perhaps doesn't look all that exciting. And as I said, people who are good at playing this game, if you're watching this, you're probably sitting in your chair screaming right now. But, you know, we're all beginners at some point. And speaking of, you should see me playing Euro Truck, speaking of beginners. Now that's a horrifying and frustrating experience that I'm not really sure I would wish on anyone. So that's why we don't have any videos of me playing that game on the channel. Now, this is not the same as me going back to doing video games full time, because to be honest, I'm not that interested in doing that. But we will do a series on this game, because I think this game is fun and I like it. And once we start seeing mods and stuff coming out, we can have a look at that too. Because again, it's funny. And I like it. Of course, I say, the start of these games is always very uninspiring, because you start with a small fleet of vehicles and they're boring vehicles, simple, uncomplicated. In this case, it's even a bit too simple. And then you realize that you find new trucks, you're gonna find new trailers, you're gonna do more missions, you're gonna grind your way up to things that can actually handle the climate you're in. And then you move on. So that's the thing. Now we are closing in on the tower, which is nice. We are dragging our stubborn carcass towards what's supposed to be the goal post. And that is kind of nice. So we are up, we are switching to regular drive, we have forward drive on this thing, so things basically are going to be moving on for now. I promise nothing bad will happen. It's going to be smooth sailing from now on towards to the garage. At least that was what I was thinking at this point. I was like, finally, things are starting to look up for me. So here we go. Wow. That was, by the way, the corn we got stuck in before. So I'm gonna give you a moment to guess how things is gonna turn out. Are things gonna go well? Are things gonna go bad? You take a guess. Yeah. It's gonna go about as good as one can expect. Which is to say, not particularly at all. But, again, we learn. Now, this part, of course, is just smooth sailing so far. We use what we know, what we learn. We try to hit the path between the ruts. We hit some grass, and we basically avoid the muddiest, marshiest parts of the track. Which is what you're supposed to be doing. So at this point I was feeling very confident. It would turn out later that I'd be too confident. But for now, life was smooth. I shouldn't hype it up, it's not that spectacular actually. It's basically just a miscalculation. Now, here's one of the few times where I actually got away with being a bit cheeky. Because the road goes in a loop around this little pond here. And I decided to go through it instead. I have to winch myself out again, because winching is a thing we do now, apparently. But beyond that, things were actually pretty good. And it's also important to actually use the accelerator when you winch yourself in. So you start winching and you punch the gas, and then you keep on winching, using the momentum, and then you just drive. Now, in a way, I feel like I feel a bit ashamed for my poor character, because while I use it to push a button and attach the winch, he metaphysically has to get out, wade through waist deep mud to attach the winch, and then winch the car up. So we pass through this little place, it's nice. And now we can see the problem with the car physics while on similarly things as regular roads and hard packed dirt. It gets a bit squirrely. So, my confidence level right now is about 80. I'm like, yes, we're going, and we're going good. Sounds like, should I go down there? No, I should not go down there. I should continue forward. So like, punch it! And we get going pretty good actually. Again, if you play the game and driven through this part, you know what's coming up. It's a bridge. So I found a little cheeky side road here. I was like, yes, we take this one. In hindsight, a tiny mistake, but the ground seemed solid and we decided it's a good idea. And then the game again teaches me that it does not like when you're being cheeky. Bridge. No bridge. Because the engine died. We're gonna end here. Catch you again next time. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, and play fair. Bye.